And this is the San Jose Mercury News Pulitzer Prize winning author.
Right. And what we did when we were going to trial, Gary sat right on the first row, and whenever my lawyer would need a question, he would always walk back to Gary and ask me, what should I ask him? And then Gary would give him names and you know, times and dates and all this stuff, and we couldn't believe where all this information was coming from. So Gary made the informant say stuff like Reagan them gave him $18 million to buy medical supplies, and they took it and bought drugs. You know, things of that nature came out in his testimony.
So it turns out that Blandone and others were working for the CIA.
Absolutely. They're what they call CIA operatives. They're not CIA agents, but they were operatives, meaning that they're on the CIA payroll, but, you know, they don't have green cards, so that they can't officially be CIA agents.
And then later, people like Barry Seal, who were operatives, they end up killing them.
Absolutely. We're not sure if Landon's still alive. We don't know where he's at right now.
Go through some more of what came out in the trial and what came out in Dark Alliance. I mean, they really wanted to get Webb, and I talked to his friends and others who said that there were people breaking in his house, everything else, and then suddenly all these operatives came out and said, we were liars, nobody ever broke in his house, even though I had all these friends that had talked to Gary Webb. I'd interviewed Gary Webb. I'd talked to Webb about threats he was getting. He's got a new book coming out, totally proving even more. I was going to get him on, and then he shoots himself twice in the head with a shotgun.
Well, you know, even not just there, but even in the courtroom they harassed Gary. You know, the DEA, the prosecutor, all of them told Gary that they were going to get him. You know, they didn't want him inside the courtroom.
Oh, really? Tell us about that as a witness in the court.
Oh, well, when he was inside the courtroom, when he walked outside the hall, all of them would be all over him. What the hell are you doing here? Get out of here. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're talking about. You're going to get yours. I mean, just all kind of crazy stuff. My lawyer would tell me what was going on in the hallway. You know, because I couldn't see that. But this is the things that my lawyer was telling me, and also Gary had told me some of the things that had happened to him as well.
Well, that's like the D.C. madam. I said, you're not going to kill yourself. And she said, no. And then I said, you better watch it. And then her landlord said people were following her. She was fearing for her life. She would never kill herself. Then they kill her. And then they have these operatives come out on the news and say, she told me she was going to kill herself. Look, if anybody kills me or kills you, let's say it on record. I'm never going to kill myself, and you're never going to kill yourself. Right, Ricky?
Absolutely. I was just going to tell you that. Just for the record, Alex, I love living. I'm breathing. I'm going to take a deep breath right now because I like breathing so much. I would never kill myself. I don't care. I'd rather go back to prison for life than to be dead. So, I'm never going to kill myself. There's never going to get anything out of here that would make me kill myself. So just for the record, Ricky Ross will never kill himself. So if something happened to me, you know that it was suicide.
And if somebody comes out and says you said you were, they're a liar.
Absolutely. You're getting it right here live on the Alex Jones Show. That Ricky Ross loves being free. He loves his freedom, and I love working with these children. I'm getting such results that I would never kill myself, and I'm planning on living a long time. Matter of fact, you know, I eat healthy, I drive safe, I wear my seatbelt everywhere I go. I want to be around. So y'all watch out for me.
And I want to second all that. In fact, I've even done that myself on air. I love breath, I love life, my heart's beating good, and I drive safe, and I wear my seatbelt, and I don't use drugs, and
yeah, our government is off the change, man. And we got to stand up, though, Alex. It's time we come out of this robotic state, man, and start doing. You know, they've been spending billions of dollars on this drug wars, man. They locking these young kids up for $1,000 worth of drugs. They're giving them 20 and 30 years and telling them they can't be rehabilitated. How can a 19-year-old kid not be rehabilitated because he sold some drugs?
Well, take Rush Limbaugh. He was eating 100 Oxycontins a day till it made him go deaf. They did a calculation, would kill 7 average-sized horses. He was that addicted, probably has a liver the size of a couch. And he says if somebody gets caught with cocaine, they need 25 years in prison first offense. But if he's taking synthetic heroin, that's okay.
Exactly. It's a double standard. If you're not one of the good old boys, you go to prison. If you're a good old boy, you get a TV show, a radio show like Oliver North. I mean, I didn't say that, did I?
Hey, Ricky Ross, stay there. We're going to come back and continue with the government drug dealing, what you're doing currently, your website, and a lot more. FreewayEnterprises.com. I'm Alex Jones. Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central. We're here live, back Sundays 4 to 6 p.m. The websites are Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Ricky Ross' website is FreewayEnterprise.com. We'll put that up on screen for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers and radio listeners. We have a link up on our website, PrisonPlanet.com. Ricky, going back, though, to Dark Alliance, the articles, the book, Gary Webb, I mean, all documented. And do you have any doubt that they murdered him?
Man, and not in my mind. I'm almost positive that they murdered Gary Webb. I mean, he cut so much stuff out. He made them tell on themselves. The evidence was so clear that, even the CIA admitted that they knew that their operatives were selling drugs in this country. In my situation and said, yeah, we knew that these guys were selling drugs, but we didn't sanction it. And that's when, Congresswoman Waters came back and say, well, you know that it's your job to stop drug dealers from selling drugs in the country, and you turn the blind eye. No doubt.
Let's get a little bit more into what happened in your trial, the type of stuff that you, your lawyer, and Gary Webb got to come out.
Well, we turned up this kind of information. We thought that was enough to free me from prison. That the CIA knew that their operatives, because what we tried to do is we tried to use the government theory about entrapment against them, that if your operative, somebody that you're paying, is selling drugs, then that's just like you selling drugs. You're connected to this person from the pay, so whatever he does, you're responsible for it. And we tried to hit him from that angle on my appeal. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, clearly, and this wasn't even a sting or entrapment. They were using you to make the money. They were using you. That'd be like if a mafia don gives an order to a soldier to go do something. The mafia don's more guilty than the soldier. How do you send the soldier to prison and not the don?
Absolutely, and that's the scenario that we tried to use in our case in trial that me and Alan tried to put together. And we got all that information via Gary's investigation. What Gary put together and turned in, we turned around and used those same documents in court in the federal government. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals said, yeah, okay, they were selling drugs, the CIA was involved, but we're not going to excuse Ricky Ross from selling drugs too.
Now, a lot of evidence shows you'd gone completely clean, and that they set you up because they didn't want you running around out there because they knew Gary Webb had already been talking to you.
Well, you know what? I figured, and like you're saying, they felt that it would be better for me to be in prison, talking about what had happened. It would lessen my credibility. If you got a guy, he's from prison, and he's saying that the CIA is selling drugs, some wacko from prison, saying all this stuff. But if a guy is on the streets saying it, it gives him more credibility. So they felt that it would be much better to have me in prison than to have me out on the streets saying the same thing.
Is the government putting pressure on you, or have you had any veiled or open threats to keep your mouth shut?
No, not at this time I haven't. Nobody has contacted me at all about anything. But, Alex, I really don't talk about it much anymore. I've just been trying to go on with my life, and hopefully, I don't wind up, in the ocean or nothing like that there.
Well, plus it's an open secret. They've had congressional hearings, documentaries, the cover of Esquire, CIA aircraft are always crashing full of drugs. I mean, I guess they just don't even care anymore. Okay, we bring the drugs in, your kids use it, and we put them in prison.
Right, the people are not going to do anything. They're under the feeling that we do what we want to do. We lie about whatever we want to lie about, and the people keep on letting us stay in power and keep on collecting all the money. I take my hat off to Gary, for what he did, but I don't know many people that would put their life on the line like Gary did, and knowing that, nothing's going to change, that our people are going to continuously allow our elected officials to continue running mockery of our country.
And he had a new book coming out with even more damning evidence. And now that book didn't get published because they shot him twice in the head with a shotgun.